Okay, as far as classic run and gun games from the 90s is concerned, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys remember Mega Man 7, a game that came out exclusively for the SNES, and it was a game that was overlooked mainly because during the mid 90s, the 2D run and gun shooter genre of gaming began to decline in popularity. Also, more people were turning to the PS1 during that time period, and I guess the Sega Saturn to some extent, even though that console didn't really sell as much. But the Mega Man 7 game, for the most part, was one that I think was overshadowed by the Mega Man X series, which began back in '93, which is probably why it didn't do so well on the SNES because the three Mega Man S games that came out on the SNES were far more interesting than that of the original series by that time, and I don't think Mega Man 6 and 7 were as popular as the first three Mega Man games that came out on the NES, and a lot of people wonder whether or not Mega Man 7 could have been more of an attraction as a PS1 exclusive during the mid 90s. And the answer, I think, would be no. But at the same time, it's possible that Mega Man 7 could have stood out more than it did on the SNES to some extent if it were released in 95. Because Mega Man 7 was basically a game that got lost in the shuffle of popular games that came out for that game console because you got a lot of RPGs made by Square Enix that came out in the early to mid 90s. Um, Games like that could have easily have overshadowed, and it did overshadow Mega Man 7. But then again, you had 3D games that could have overshadowed Mega Man 7 in 95 or 96. And I believe like by the time we got to Mega Man X4, which came out in '97 for the PS1, the Mega Man main series was not as popular. I mean, it just a lot of people just lost interest, mainly due to the fact that the plot and the stories for the Mega Man X games were far more intriguing because instead of just having Dr. Willie as the main antagonist, you got something different with the Mega Man X series. You got to see Sigma, who was a far more menacing and yet a more threatening foe than Dr. Willie was. We got to see Zero make his debut in the Mega Man X series. So there was definitely interesting stories to be told, and the visuals, the gameplay, all that stuff just looked a lot better in the Mega Man X games. And out of the series, a lot of people would say Mega Man X1 and Mega Man X maybe 4 and 5 were probably among the best in the entire series, depending on who you ask. But mainly for the most part, the 2D run and gun genre of gaming began to decline during the mid 2000s, and honestly, Mega Man 7 really didn't bring anything new or interesting to the series, and as a result, it was just something that people, lost interest in by the time we got to the mid 90s. So, if Mega Man X or Mega Man 7 was ported to the PS1 in 95, 96, I don't think it would have stood out any more than it did as a SNES exclusive.